like a friendship. It's a person that you can share some of your greatest difficulties with, knowing that they're not going to take them somewhere else and share them with someone else, but somebody who will laugh with you, cry with you, hold your hand, and walk with you.
There's a song that I always think represents, I don't know the whole song, but the one line in it is, come to me all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And I always think of that as Stephen's ministry, because that's what we do, is we just walk alongside people that are a little weary and try to share their burden.
Stephen ministry is very specifically a calling, inasmuch as it requires a person with the gifts of, among others, mercy and helps, and those are pretty rare gifts.
I think it takes some special gift, and I think that the Lord finds a way to equip us for it and then presents us with the opportunity to do it when He's ready for us to do it. At least that's the way that it happened with me.
Well, I did 4 years in seminary, and I must tell you that the 50 hours of training in Stephen minister, as a Stephen minister, taught me more than the 4 years of seminary training.
I think that the most important thing that I learned from training was about the whole art of listening. Because a lot of times I certainly think of my own answers and what I want to say when someone else is talking, especially if it's a conflict, you know, with my husband or my teenagers or whatever. And so I learned a lot about listening and being quiet and trying to hear actually what the other person was saying instead of just generating my own answers and my own thoughts.
The training for Stephen's ministry is really good because one thing it does, it talks about the confidentiality, but it also talks a lot about God being the caregiver. We are the caregiver. We are someone who can walk with someone, who can share their life with them, who can give them encouragement, give them love, share Bible verses and pieces of our lives, but mostly just be there to listen to them and to allow them time to work through on their own and work through with God what they need to.
The Stephen ministers are definitely a very special group, intimately connected, interested in each other. They pray for each other, they laugh a lot, they share each other's burdens. It is a very special, spiritually connected community within Greentree.
And we have a closeness that is like a family about it.
I think the fact that the Stevens family is kind of the way I would look at it also is probably one of the things that means the most to me. It's a real privilege to walk alongside someone that's weary and try to share their burden a little bit. But truly, I feel like I've received a lot more than I've ever given.
Stephen's ministry has a lot of different aspects. We have a lot of different areas that different people have taken on. We have people who have volunteered with hospice. We have people that do blankets for new babies. We have a grief ministry where people who have lost someone in their family, we just want to make sure that they know that they're being thought of, that they're not alone, that they have an opportunity if they would like to talk with someone, but that we also just send a card and a phone call. We have booklets that we can send. We're creating a library so that people have resources that way. Because everyone approaches things in their lives differently, and we don't all do it in the same way. All of us are not maybe someone who would go and talk to somebody, but we would read something. Or maybe we don't feel up to visits, but getting an email or getting a card can mean so much when you're having a difficult time.
People that know me now, that know that I'm a Stephen minister, that I have known for a long time, a lot of them are, you know, they're like, well, how did you get to do this? Because, you know, you're no different than, you know, anybody else. They're a little bit surprised. But from time to time, if they're having struggles or whatever, and I'll be talking with them, and they'll say, you're doing that Stephen minister thing to me, aren't you? and they seem to enjoy it. Being a Stephen minister has made me a better friend. I think it's made me a better dad. It's made me a better son. It's made me a better brother. It has enriched all of the relationships that I have. So being with the other Stephen ministers and getting to enjoy that with people that understand it as a Stephen minister has made the relationships of being a Stephen minister outstanding. And then all of the other relationships that I have, in which I get to use this, you don't really use it, it just kind of becomes who you are.
Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Come to me, all you who are weary